All right. No, that was weird. Okay. So that was weird. I blew a circuit. I bought a little, like everybody knows, I do not have, I keep the heat turned off in my craft room. So I bought a little heater. So if it gets too cold, I can run the little heater. And apparently it caused my lights, my breaker to pop. So I'm back. So what I was saying was we ran the background die through the embossing folder. And this is actually pearlescent specialty paper. It comes in 12 by 12 sheets that will be available in the new catalog. And it comes, you can buy it separately or in the suite. And this set also comes with designer series paper. I'm getting pop-ups on my computer. And they're all pastel type colors, which are very pretty. I really like bold, so that's why I did the first card the way I did. But the paper and the colors are very pretty. I did do one in just by stamping, and then I actually did do one in the Seaside Spray. Hey Debbie, how are you? Sorry about that. Hi Linda. So, like I said, the pastel colors are beautiful, but for some reason, I just like bold. And then the suite also comes 3 sheets of stickers. And as you can see, I used 2 of them and put them on the inside of those other 2 cards during the week. So what I'm going to do is I am going to start with this card tonight. Only because the alcohol and ink is very messy. And you know I am a messy crafter to begin with. So we have to leave that one to the end. So we'll get started on this card. It is done a little differently than the card from yesterday. Practically the same colors. Just want to run my score line. I have a piece of old olive, and I will have the PDF in the Gal Friday stamping group tomorrow. I will. Hey Kathy, how are you? Hi Susan. I do love this bundle too. So I'll have a PDF for this card tonight, and I'm also going to offer a mini class for all the cards I've done this week. So it's the basic card base in old olive, and then I'm going to put a layer of mossy meadow. I am going to put a layer of the copper foil paper, where on the other card I did gold. A piece of the DSP to keep all my colors a little bit more muted, so bold. So let's get these layers on. I changed my seal today, so I know I won't run out. Gotta get it started though. The one thing that drives me crazy with the seal, I don't know if it happens to anybody else. And look at that, it's a little off, it's not as clear as it was. This snail gets stuck sometimes on the plastic. Drives me crazy. So I'm just going to line this up, and I do it this upside down. I know I've been asked a few times why I do it upside down, and it's because each of my layers are 1/8 of an inch smaller than the layer before, and if I can get 3 sides lined up and even on each side, I know my 4th side is going to be good as well. And that's the folded side. So as long as I get these 3 sides, I know that I'm good on my side. Now I'm just going to put seal on my DSP. And this one I did about 1/4 of an inch. And this, like I said, it's on the copper instead of gold. And I'm going to actually pop this up. Let me just grab some large. They're all small. Let's see, maybe this one. They're small too. Can you believe it? One more try. And they are too. Okay, so we'll use small ones. 3 packs, all of them small. So we'll just use them. So we're going to pop this up onto the front of the card. Oops, missed it. I hope everybody's doing well. We had some snow yesterday. They were calling for, I know I wasn't sure about this set either, Debbie, at first. Hi, Margaret. Hi, Pam. If everybody shares this video, I'll put you in for a contest to, I actually have, it's going to be the Painted Texture 3D Embossing Folder. And I believe this is in the upcoming catalog also. So this will be what you'll get if I pick your name for sharing my video. But getting back to the set. Hi, Ruth. I know tonight I'm doing it. Oh God, now look at that. It went blurry. Oh, there we go. I'm trying something different tonight. Instead of doing it in my group, I'm doing it on my business page. But I will have the PDF for this card in my group tomorrow. I wasn't going to get this set either because I'm actually not that keen on the Designer Series paper. But I just love the seashells. And growing up on Long Island, I spent many a day on the beach. So I figured, oh, what the heck, let's get it. But like I said, we were supposed to, oh, Peggy, I lost my heater blue. Thanks, Pam. My heater, Debbie. Okay, So we put that layer on. Getting back to the snow, we were supposed to get 10 to 22 inches. Thankfully, we got about 8. So I'm okay with that. Now, what I did in the video, I did it first. This set comes with a background die that does measure 5.5 by 4.25. And it also comes with an embossing folder, just like this. That lights, like I said, it shows it going this way. For this embossing folder, you can do a full sheet because it does have bubbles on it. But what I did was took the die cut and I very carefully laid the die cut on the flat side. This is the indented side. And ran it through the Big Shot. And it embosses that back piece, which is awesome. So this is going to be put on the front of this card. Then what I did, and I've already done it because I didn't want to hold everybody up for such a long time. I got my shells. For this shell, I actually used the same paper I used, the DSP, for the back, this back paper. I actually stamped this shell on that paper. And then I did one in, what color did I pick for this one? I believe Petal Pink. And then I did the Clam Shells in the Pearlescent. And they are stamped with Coastal Cabana. That's this one. And then Crumb Cake for the little clam shells. Soft Suede for the conch shell. And then Calypso Coral I did on something else. So that's how I stamped them. And then I did the same thing. After I fussy cut the shell out, I lined it up inside the embossing folder very carefully. And if you can get it just right and close it up, run it through the cut and emboss again. You really can't tell very much on this one, but it is embossed just like you see on this. You want the DSP do? Okay, I'll send it to you. Yeah, we got 8 inches. Hi, Dan. I actually blew a fuse. I blew a circuit breaker. That's what happened. Okay, so like I said, this embossing folder is just amazing. You can do each and every shell, which I did, because it has its own space. But what I'm going to do first is grab my old olive and pear pizzazz and my little blending tool. And I am going to grab a sheet of paper so we can keep this area clean for a little while. And I'm doing the old olive first because it's the darkest. And I am just going to blend some color onto the background. And we don't have to worry about the shells too much underneath because I'm going to cover them. But I'm doing the dark old olive up close to the shells because it'll add a little bit of shadow around the shells. And it really doesn't, as you can see when I'm off the camera, it doesn't really add a lot of color, but you know it's there. So that's the old olive. Then I'm just going to pull out my pear pizzazz, and we're going to do it again. Make sure we hit them all. Give them some color. You want to make sure, if you notice on this card, I forgot to hit the inside. So I'm just making sure I'm hitting it tonight. Okay. So it just adds a little bit of color to that pearlescent, and the green still looks pearly, so that's really nice. Make sure I have the right side. Close up the stamp pad. And we're going to pop this up onto the front of the card. Now it is embossed, so you want to make sure you put your dimensionals towards the edge so it catches and holds down to the front really well. Some of these leaves here, they have double grass, I should say. I keep saying leaves. The grass, but you just want to make sure this really gets good. So we'll do it like that. If I need more, I can always sneak a few under. Camera wants to, keeps going out of focus, I notice. Peggy, your package is on its way with your Freeze a Bird DSP. Okay, so we're just going to line this up on the front of the card. Now it's, you know, naturally it's going to be a bit bigger than the DSP, but that's okay. And we're just going to lay this down, just like that. And then we're going to take our shells, and we're going to just pop these right up again. So this card has lots and lots of dimension. Yeah, this set is really card up a little, sorry. The big bet, that is, it comes in the suite. It'll be available now in a new catalog. It's pearlescent specialty paper. It is really pretty. It comes in 12 by 12. But it just has a really nice shimmer to it. Really very pretty paper. Aw, thanks, Peggy. I wasn't too sure about this set either, but I do love it. Like I said, I don't like the DSP so much because I just like bold. And those papers I'm just not too keen on. Okay, so we're just going to sit that right like that. And we're going to pop this. We're popping all of these up. The clam shells I did not pop up, but this one I'm popping up. Oh, let me just trim off this sharp corner there. And like I said, this shell I actually stamped on the same DSP I used in the background. And you can pretty much line it up right where we embossed. Embossed. Now the little clam shells, I'm just going to do a quick, and these I also did on the pearlescent paper, and I stamped them in crumb cake and just did a quick fussy cut. I could have used the little die that went with it, but I was cutting the other one, so I figured I'd just hurry up and cut those. And then we're just going to pop this one up also. And I did this all ahead of time, but they are all really nice stamps. This suite also comes with opal rounds, so it mimics bubbles, which is really pretty. And we're just gonna, am I still, yep, still on the screen. So we're just going to add a couple bubbles, and these come in different sizes. And then I have had these pearls. As you can see, it's the green Stampin' Up label. So I've had these pearls forever. So I've been trying to use them up. And these are the strips that you can put on. So I X-Acto knife. We're just going to add them to the shells. And the front of our card is done. Now for the inside, I actually did 3 layers. So this is a pretty heavy card. It's the Mossy Meadow, the Old Olive, and then the Whisper White. And just so you can see, let me just pull I have everything in a basket. And let's see, here it is right here. Trying to be a little bit more organized. I put everything in a basket tonight. And I probably still will forget something, but that's okay. So we're just going to, I didn't even measure these. I think this is 1/4 of an inch, and it's the same DSP. And then a little strip of Old Olive. And I'm just going to glue these together. Just, oops. Glue it. Give that a minute to dry. And for this one, do it in soft way. Make sure I'm on screen. And before we do the sentiment, I'm just going to, what did I do with it? I just had it in my hand. I just had this stinking stamp. What did I do with it? Alright, I have the sentiment right here. Now that's crazy. It was the one with the little, so I could put the sand across the bottom. It must have just jumped out of my hand. Okay, let's just get the sentiment on the corner. It's here somewhere because I just had it in my hand. And I'm just going to stamp this down towards the bottom. That is the craziest thing. So, as you can see on this card, I do have the bottom. Yeah, the pearlescent is really beautiful. Thanks, Kathy. Thanks, Debbie. And I just had it. It was just in my hand, so I don't know what I did with it. I just pulled it. I mean, it happens to me every week, right? I just pulled it off, and it's probably stuck to something because it's so new. Okay, so we're going to have to skip the sand because I just don't know what I did with it. Here it is, right here. See, I told you it was right near me. So what I did, crazy, right? That's what happens to me every time. I'm actually just stamping off, getting the sand down here on the bottom of the card, just to add a little something, because it does say, love you to the beach and back. So I just had to add a little bit of sand to the bottom of the card. And then we're going to this little strip right on top of the sand, but underneath our sentiment, making sure it's straight. It looks good. And then we're just going to layer our layers. And I'm off screen again. I'm going to have to move my camera again. And again, it's an 1/8 of an inch on my layers. Let's trim this off. And this one I'm going to glue. So it just gives me a okay. And then we're just going to snail this, or put Stampin' Seal on there. Make sure it's the right way. Have you ever put your inside upside down? I have, of course. Okay, so there's the first card. Very shiny, but with muted colors, which is awesome. Okay, so let's jump to the second card. Let me just quick put my score line on my card base, because this one is the one we're going to get a little messy. So we'll do everything that we can, and then I'll put it aside. So it is, again, the Old Olive basic card base. And it's this one right here. Then I have an Old Olive, a Mossy Meadow layer. That's going to go straight down on the card. And for future, I should have run this through the cut and emboss machine with like a Subtles embossing folder, just to give it a little bit of texture on the back. I was going to do it for tonight's card, but got all about it. So there's my layer. Now we did, like I said, we're using the background die again. Let me just trim these little sharp pieces off. And this is in the old olive. And I didn't on this one. I did run this one through the cut and emboss. And I actually did cut it in half. It goes like this because I wanted to overlay it so we could see the background a little bit more. That's actually why I cut this in half. But tonight I embossed it. Then I do have a gold layer on this card because I am going to use a new product that's coming out in the 2021 catalog, and it's Gilded Leafing, which is very, very messy, as you can see, but it is really pretty. It gets all over everything, so be forewarned. But as you can see, I did add it to the background just a little bit. Not the way it's supposed to be done. The gilding, let me just pull it out. I haven't even opened it yet. It actually comes with a heat and stick powder, which you use with Versamark, and then heat it, and then put your gilding on. But I did it a quick and easier way for this because I didn't want a lot on it. So we're just going to put that aside. I have my insides. Then I have a piece of photo paper, and I actually cut this down to about 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. Just want to make sure this is the right size, and it is. And we're just going to get away so I can show you exactly what we're going to do. I'm going to get my scrap paper out again. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use some of this seal, and I'm just going to put it on the 4 corners, and I'm just going to stick it down easily on my scrap paper. Excuse me. Thanks, Linda. Because photo paper has a tendency to curl, and it will be easy to take off my scrap paper, even if I have to, it'll leave it. I'm using just 91% alcohol. I do not have, excuse me, I do not, believe it or not, I have not yet purchased any refills for my stamp pads using Stampin' Up ink. So what I did was I grabbed a couple of my Copic, because I am a Copic colorer. I grabbed a few of my Copic colors, and I have Nile Green, Aqua, and Chartreuse. So those are my colors. Now I'm just going to grab a straw, and what we're going to do is we're going to take the alcohol. Now I'm sorry, my desk is going to be a mess, so it's okay, but I just want to forewarn you. So I'm going to take the alcohol, and I am just going to pour it on top of the photo paper. There is another paper out there that's called Yupo, Y-U-P-O, that you can use, but I don't have any, so I used photo paper. So I am just going to add a few drops of each of the colors, working a little quick. I should have had these open before I put the alcohol on. Just like that. And then what you can do is take your straw and just blow across your page. You can turn it, move that color around. So you'll get different effects and ink on your hands, which is fine. Just gonna sop this up off the sides a little. And then you're gonna wait for this to dry. Now, I did try using, oops, comes flying out all over the place. I did try putting this on while it was still wet. Some of them stick, some of them don't. But this is the gold flaking. And I'm just putting them on randomly. My camera keeps fading out there. And then we're going to let this dry. And that is all you do for your background. And you can use any colors. You just want to make sure, and if you have blending solution, you can use that. Alcohol works great. But you need a paper that's non-porous so that alcohol sits on the top. And that's really all there is to it. That's how it'll look different each and every time. I actually did night right here, and it came out different. Depends on how much alcohol, how much ink you put on. So here's the one I did for tonight. So we'll just, let me just get a scrap piece of paper. Let me just pull a thick piece of paper now that my desk is, just grab an old piece of cardstock, junk cardstock. Okay, that'll save it. So here we go. So here's the base of the card. I'm going to, like I said, this is the old one I did, and how I put these on was use the fine tip glue and just put little dots and then put the gold on. And that's how I did this one. So we're just going to layer this on the gold. Making sure it goes on here. Now this takes a few minutes to dry because the gold foil and the photo paper are both slippery. So we just have to be careful and let that take hold for a few minutes because it slips and slides all over the place. And then again, I did my, hopefully I have them all here. Where's my little guy? Here he is. Okay, he's not. Let me just quick run him through. I don't know if everybody saw before. And I'll do it with this one because I just don't know where my other little guy went. I have it stamped on the pink. I'm going to pull out my embossing folder. And if you can see, here's the match right here. I'm going to lay it flat down in that little area. And then let me just quick run this through my embosser. Unfortunately, the embossing folders are too big to run through the mini, so I have to get up to do it. That's okay. Okay, so I have my shells. This piece I'm going to offset because when we lay this layer down, it pretty much covers up this side. So I'm just going to offset this piece onto the corner, giving it a little bit of room, just like that. And then, like I said, I cut it in half, layer it so it doesn't take away from this piece. And we're just going to add our dimensionals. My hair is shedding for the winter, so everywhere I look, okay, you can put more, but by the time we add the other layer, okay, so this one we're going to fit on this side of the card. This time we can get it inside the mossy meadow, just like that. And then we're going to pop up our shells. Lots of dimension on this card. And this is, again, this was stamped with soft suede on Very Vanilla. Oops. I'm just going to line it up on the embossed shell on the layer. Make sure it's on there right. And then this one is Coastal Cabana on white. Am I still... Yes, the Stampin' Up! Re-inkers. That's the ones that I don't have any. You know, the ones that you would use to ink up your stamp pad. It's the same ink as the Copic. It's just that I have not bought any re-inkers yet, so I don't have any. But I do have tons of Copic, so that's why I used it. But you can use, hey Pamela, it would probably splatter more because the Copic is alcohol based. I'm not really 100% sure, but I'll have to try it out too. Okay, so now we're going to take this layer, and again, I'm going to pop it up. The card is going to be really heavy to begin with. Because of all the layers I have, so I figured I would just pop it up again. Now, what I have to do though is we have one layer, two layer, this is the third layer. So we're just going to see where we want this. just like that. Then I'm going to turn it. Now, I usually do it on here. Let's start here. Take the paper off. Then I have to lay a dimensional. Take the paper off, and then we got to layer another dimensional because it is 3 stacks high. This layer is 1, the shell is 2, this is, so I need these leaves to be 3 layers of dimensionals high. So we're just going to find a spot that's pretty thick, and like I said, these leaves, the grass is pretty thick. So this way it is attached. And you can always add more if you need to. And then we're going to pop up our little pink shell. These cards use lots of dimensionals. I could have grabbed some foam tape and cut it up, I guess. Just like that. And on this one, for the little clam shells, I actually did pop them up too. Do it reverse here. I have lots of little papers all over the floor, as you can imagine. Oops. I'm going to pop that up here. These are on the pearl. And these I actually stamped in crumb cake. You can just about see the lines, but they're there. Okay, this layer I'm going to have to get some dimensionals under there. Let's do this quick. It's just a little bit dragging down. But we'll put it right there. Just going to poke that in a little bit. I don't really want to see it. Okay. And then we're going to go back to my little pearls. Let's see where I put my X-Acto knife. I'm going to cut a few pearls off. Put them on these little clam shells. One of these days I'll have this done. These pearls. I wish there was a date on them. They're from many, 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 many years ago. And then we're going to grab the little opal rounds. Whoops. One of the piece of paper. I'll have to get that. And we'll put a few bubbles on the card. The camera keeps going out of focus, I notice. Hey, Pam. Oh, my cards cost 70 cents a piece to mail. But I always figure if, let me just, this is sticking. Okay. I figure if I put so much work into them, 70 cents is just fine. Okay, and then for the inside, I pretty much did the same thing. Let me just get this piece. The photo paper, if you see, everything sticks to it. All I did was the happy birthday. Let me just grab it right here. My blocks need a good cleaning. And I don't know about you, but these are so wobbly. I like to lay them down with the stamps, the side stamp, and then place my block on it. This way I know I'm laying it down on my block and it's straight. So we're just going to use the happy birthday to my beautiful friend. And I'm going to do it in Old Olive. We're just going to stamp it up. And I'm going to put it down here in the bottom corner, making sure it's straight. Just like that. And then I'm going to grab the same stamp that I used to create the sand, and using Coastal Cabana, because I used it on that one shell, I am actually now going to put some bubbles on the side of the card. And then we're just going to layer it up. Again, this card I did 3 layers. Adding the glue makes it, like I said, just gives you that extra couple minutes to wiggle it around so we know it's straight. And then we're just going to put it inside the card, upside down. How crazy is that? And there you go. Those are tonight's cards. I hope you like them. Thanks, Jan. Thanks, Linda and Margaret. Those are my cards. See, you can tell just a little bit different. Just if you can. This is the one I did not run through the embosser. And this one I did. It's very, very subtle, and my camera keeps wanting to unfocus. But if you look, it does just change it a little bit. It doesn't look as flat, the green on this one. And then the same with this. The pearlescent just gives it that wow factor. So I hope you enjoyed. Here's tonight's host code. If you'd like these make and takes for free, just order $25 before Monday. And for sharing tonight's video, thanks, Nan. Thanks, Stu. This is the prize. It is in the new catalog, and you can't see it. It's called Painted Texture. It's a new suite that's coming out, and that one is actually gorgeous. You're going to love it. So have a great night. Have a great weekend. Don't forget to share the video. Thanks, Debbie. welcome. Have a great night and a great week.